Hello.
Hi,
Kayla Lords
John Brownstone.
of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. We are back to answer a question. This week, it's a question from a kinkster who is struggling to enjoy scenes with a nervous dom. Let's get into the question. It says, hello. So I'm in a relationship with a woman who is very new to kink and calling herself a dom. I have some experience with a couple other girlfriends in the past. I don't think she understands the whole idea of power exchange, so I'm having to keep telling her that everything feels good during a scene and it's exhausting and I can't just relax and enjoy the sensation. She seems very worried that she'll hurt me no matter how much I explain that I like the sensations. It's like she doesn't believe me and or trust herself. Makes me hesitant to even play with her because it's too much energy going out for me to convince her that it's all okay and feels good. And we are only using some floggers and a bit of spanking and paddling, nothing heavy. I am this close to yelling at her to step into her damn power. Help.
Yikes.
Yeah, I feel like play's got to stop until she gains just enough confidence to at least allow things to happen.
And that's, I think, what it's coming down to here is somebody needs to build their confidence. Paddles and floggers, mainly what they're using. I'm going to make a suggestion to you. I used to practice on a pillow with my floggers. And those poor pillows were flogged into submission time and time again. But it's a way to practice what you're doing, not worry about hurting anybody, and get that practice building up the muscle memory so that you're more confident in what you're doing. You know, that's one way to look at this. The other, I think, would be start reading some books.
And this is for this dom. That's what she needs to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, get some books. Read some books. Are there workshops in your area that you can attend on power exchange and different dynamics? If not, can you find one virtual that you can do? The other thing that I'm going to suggest that I think would be pretty applicable in this instance. One, I hope you're using a safe word. But two, think about using the stoplight. So, green, everything's good. Yellow, need to back off a little bit. Red, that's a stop. So, this allows, if things do get, a little out of control, you've got the way to back it off. If not, if your partner, if she's sitting there flogging you and spanking you and you're saying green, they know they're good to go and keep going.
And I would think that would be a confidence builder for the dom. If the moment you get nervous, instead of going, oh no, what do? Just go, give me a color. And if the bottom or the submissive is like green, then that is information that they need to keep going. The biggest difference, though, is that they have got to trust not just themselves, but their partner.
Yes.
It's bad enough if you don't trust yourself that are you doing it wrong? Are you going to accidentally hurt somebody? Are you just too nervous? But then if you don't trust your partner's enthusiasm, if they're telling you this is good, keep going, and you still don't feel like you can, that's yet another reason that probably everything needs to stop. We need a timeout. There needs to be something going on outside of the scene before there's a scene again.
Yeah. I agree with that. Absolutely. That rather than stopping mid-stride, the conversation needs to be had before.
Right. And I think for the person asking the question, what do you do? If you have not already, and even if you have, maybe you find another way to do this, there's got to be conversations about this. And I think it is okay if you are direct and firm without being mean or insulting to go, your nerves are making this unpleasant for me. I cannot get into this because you are so nervous. So how can we help you be less nervous? And you can suggest the color light method. And all your dom has to do is literally just go, give me a color. Ta-da, right? I think also that so there are reasons to safe word out of a scene to stop a scene. I think it is okay if you are getting frustrated in the scene and you cannot enjoy it because your dom's nerves are messing with the vibe. it's okay to say for it and go, we just need to stop. This just isn't working, you know? The main reason we stop a scene is for bad pain, danger, risk, you know, something has gone wrong.
Right.
But I think it's okay to go, your lack of confidence is making this difficult, because quite frankly, somebody's lack of confidence is what can get somebody hurt unintentionally, because you are too careful, or you get upset with yourself that you're being so nervous, and so then you go too hard, or just weird things can happen. When I was learning how to drive a million years ago, the people in my life who were teaching me how to drive were like, actually being too cautious is that probably a little bit more dangerous than being too crazy out here on the road. And I don't think it's that dissimilar in kink. You can't, there is such a thing as too cautious. You just do weird stuff and people don't want to play, and it is valid to not want to play. The other thing is this just a play situation, or is this a power exchange that you are in the process of negotiating? Because in a play situation, you can just go, look, I like you, I want to play with you, but I can't do this until you get some more experience under your belt, or you get a little bit more security, or you learn some things so you are more confident. Yeah. If you're trying to negotiate a power exchange, I think you got to put the brakes on that too, until they know what that means, what that's, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're like in the question, you would say, I don't think she understands the whole idea of a power exchange. Well, then let's pause, because you're not getting what you need out of this. They're being so nervous that it's probably not great for them either, and they don't understand what power exchange is. Like, there's a lot of learning, I think, that has got to go on before maybe you can get into this. I would say normally I'd say, you know what, if the power exchange part isn't there, but the kink is, the topping and bottoming is going well, keep doing it, have fun, focus on the fun. But if y'all aren't having fun, what are we doing here? I think, it was so funny, because when we got this question, I read it to you, I was like, actually, I wish the Dom had written it.
Yeah.
So we could be like, look, here's what you need to go do. But in your case, as the partner, show her this video, offer these suggestions. If she's willing to listen to you and let you kind of guide her path a little bit, then, you know, offer these suggestions. If she's not a reader, but she is more of a listener, you know, there's audiobooks, podcasts, videos for people who, but the information is out there. What she may also need to do is go find some DOMs to talk to and find community with.
And I was just going to say, you know, that's something to look forward to, like a dominant roundtable. Many communities have these round tables where, you know, one side they have, you know, dominants that all meet and talk. They have submissive round tables at the same, you know, on the other side. So, you know, this is something that they could seek out, and you know, at that point, you freely talk about what's going on and what's happening, and you know what they're hoping to achieve.
Another thing I've thought about, you know, you're playing with floggers and spanking with paddling, and I love your suggestion. Go practice on something inanimate so you can't possibly hurt it. That will gain confidence. The other thing might be to consider, and this depends on if you're willing and this is a sensation you like. Can you back off from toys, and maybe she can just use her hand? That is up to you as well. Like, if that's not a sensation you like, or if that's not how you want to experience impact, you don't have to. But if that is something you are willing to do, it's entirely possible that that can also help her gain confidence, because you hit once light and you go, oh, this wasn't the worst thing ever. Yeah. You hit again a little harder, and it's a more physicality where you are also feeling it, so you know what you're feeling.
With your hand, you kind of experience what the bottom is experiencing at the same time. You know, maybe not total, but
you have an idea.
You have an idea of it.
I know as a person who is not going to hit anybody with anything probably ever, when I hold a paddle and I feel like swinging, it makes me nervous, because I don't really know what I'm doing to the other person. I can't feel it in the same way I can feel my hand. If you ever notice, I love to grab your butt and pat, pat, pat. Yeah. But that's because it's a very sensory thing. There's all kinds of reasons I like to do that to his butt, y'all. But I'm not going to pick up the paddle and tease you with the paddle in that way. One, because I know that paddle would be snatched out of my hand, and I would be reminded about who's the dom and who's the sub. That's a whole different conversation. But on this weird level of where do I feel like I have the most control over what I'm physically doing. It's with my hand, not with an extra object. And if y'all progressed maybe to paddles and floggers and skip the hand part, if you're willing, as the one who's got to experience a sensation, go back down to hand. And
sometimes in order to move forward, you got to take a step backwards.
Exactly. But quite frankly, at the end of the day, if you try to talk to your partner, if you try to offer solutions, if they watch this video, if they find community and things don't change and ideally improve, right? Why are we still here? You know, there are other opportunities, and or if you are more miserable dealing with somebody else's nerves and it's not a relationship you want to cultivate long term, you know, we try to be, when you're in a relationship where you genuinely care for the other person and it's something you want to try to make work, you work with the things that they struggle with and you try to help them, but they have to help themselves as well, and they have to be willing to kind of go outside their comfort zone to learn. Clearly she's outside her comfort zone now, and kudos to her for trying, right?
Right, sure.
But there are other things that could be done, and the big one is, if you're not already, you know, when you get to the point you're close to yelling, to tell them to like do better, we gotta get out of the scene and have conversations when you're not trying to be bent over something and paddled, right? Like you got to do it when everybody's like in just a talking frame of mind, and you're not in a power exchange frame of mind, you're not in a play frame of mind, whatever, so that you can have this conversation calmly and say, this is killing it for me. This is not working, you know? And if you're willing, you say, I want to help you through this. I want to send you to the places that you can get the information, but this has got to change. Yeah. And if she's not willing, then that's when you reassess what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, everybody has different comfort levels. You know, not everybody is going to be as extreme in their kinks. And, you know, some people just, you know, light hand spanking and they're good.
Right.
You know, it is a whole spectrum. You know, will this person get up to your level? Don't know. It's going to be...
And do they even want to? Right. It is entirely possible that they're trying to do this for you to make you happy, and it's not authentic to them. Right. And that's a harder thing to navigate, because, again, you have to assess, is this a relationship I really want and I'm trying to make work, and can we find a middle ground? So, yeah, I think there needs to be some communication going on about what both of you want and how you think you can get there. But instead of getting yourself to the point of frustration that you're like, set aside some time to just talk about the state of your relationship without it being in scene or in like a specific kink headspace. Like, just sit down as equals and just talk it out. Yep. Okay, so if you have experienced anything like this on either side of this situation and you've got some tips and tricks and just insight to share, please do leave a comment below. We like to know how other people see this, because our way is not the only way. There are so many other ways to get to the same place, right? Yes. If you enjoy this, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And ring that notification bell to get updates and new content.
Just do what Daddy says.